imprisoned. This looks kind of fun. This thing again? Why are you back again? Is it really my destiny to fight this thing over and over again? Wait. Hello everyone, this is the Introverted Positron, and welcome to another episode of Tips Gaming Philosophy, where we talk about the philosophy hidden in the games we play every day. Today, we are discussing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and there are spoilers past this point, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this game, you can play it yourself or watch my Let's Play, which I will link in the description. The Legend of Zelda is my favorite series, and Skyward Sword is one of my favorite games in it. But have you ever noticed how much destiny is mentioned in The Legend of Zelda? Link is the chosen hero, destined to wield the Sword of Evil's Bane to banish the evil plaguing Hyrule, and Zelda seems to be destined to be captured or somehow trapped in the presence of evil. Well, these concepts have their origin in Zelda's lore and Skyward Sword, and they cover a specific topic in philosophy, the idea of determinism. So we will look at determinism in Skyward Sword, how it is present in the game, and whether or not the game and series really support it. Determinism is actually not too difficult to explain. Basically, it is the idea that everything is determined. More specifically, if determinism were a law of the universe, it would mean that every action in the universe happens because it has to, and there is no choice in regards to any action or thought that occurs in the universe, which is kinda depressing to think about. Most people who argue for determinism will use cause and effect as evidence for the concept. If you were playing pool and hit one billiard ball into others, their trajectory and speed are determined by the speed and trajectory of the first ball. Similarly, in life, the argument would be that every action must have a consequent reaction, which would act as a new action to repeat the process. So the first action, presumably the Big Bang, had reactions that have caused everything to date. There is a lot of support for this mathematically and scientifically speaking. However, there are solid arguments against determinism. The most common ones involve ideas such as morality or even discovering new concepts through thought. Morality is a concept that seems to exist for humans whether or not we experience it, meaning there is no action or reaction required for the idea of morality to exist. And you can argue similarly for any idea that seems to come from no past experience, but from creativity and or instinct. So morality and similar concepts, which do not come from causation, seem to disprove determinism. Of course, there are arguments back and forth from there, but I'm not going to go over those as it would take a long time to go through all the arguments, and what you believe on the subject is really up to you. However, I think there's one question that's important to ask, and that is, does it matter? If determinism is the law of the universe, can we live as if that is the case? Anyway, on to Skyward Sword. This seems pretty open and shut. There are clear elements of determinism in this game. Link is the chosen hero destined to serve the incarnation of the goddess Hylia, Zelda, and is tied through her fate to the spirit of demise through all of time, which are determined events, so the game clearly supports determinism. However, upon a more detailed inspection, this is incorrect. Skyward Sword and The Legend of Zelda in general does not support determinism. How, you ask? Well, let's take a closer look at the timeline. As is common knowledge to many Zelda fans, or anyone who cares about the timeline, there is a split in the timeline following Ocarina of Time. One branch where Link dies during Ocarina of Time, one where Link is victorious and stays in the present, and one where Link is sent back in time after beating Ganon. This timeline split brings up an idea from quantum mechanics called the multiverse. This concept is explained in many sci-fi shows and movies, but here is my simplified explanation with an analogy. Let's say you go to a pizza shop. You have the choice to buy pepperoni pizza, Hawaiian pizza, and all dressed. You can only choose one, and you love them all equally. Now you will make a choice between the three eventually, and let's say you choose the Hawaiian. If the multiverse exists, there are universes where you chose the pepperoni, the all-dressed, where it took you longer or shorter to choose, where there's a completely different selection, or where you don't get pizza at all. Basically, there are infinite choices and consequently infinite universes, and all exist at the same time. And this goes for pretty much every choice in every moment of every day. So in this situation, determinism cannot exist. This is because there are an infinite number of universes for every choice. So you must have an infinite number of choices, meaning there are an infinite number of possible reactions for every action, and not just the required one for an event to be determined. The Zelda timeline supports the idea of a multiverse as it splits into three distinct universes. In particular, the idea of Link simply dying creating another universe and not some second time-bending event means that every action should also be able to create new universes. You can kind of think of each one of your playthroughs as a different universe, as that every time you play through the game's events, they go differently, if only slightly, and what you do in the game may change. Skyward Sword in particular supports the multiverse concept at the end of the game. In the present, the imprisoned is crushed by the Temple of Hylia from Link's wish on the Triforce to destroy Demise, while in the past, Demise is slain by Link before he becomes the imprisoned. And they return to a future that must have lived without the imprisoned, as the Master Sword was left in the past and is also back in the present, meaning there are two universes created in Skyward Sword, one where the imprisoned was squashed by the Temple of Hylia, and one where Demise was destroyed by Link in the past. This introduces the concept of the multiverse to Skyward Sword, as there must be at least two universes from these events. Now this seems solid enough, but there is still one nagging question. What about Link, Zelda, and Demise? All three are always reincarnated after Skyward Sword, and Link and Zelda must face Demise in his reincarnated form. If determinism doesn't exist in this world, why does Girahim say he and Link are tied together by fate, and why are these three destined to repeat this cycle? Simple. Demise cursed all three of them to repeat this fate. As stated by Demise, "You fight like no man or demon I have ever known, that this is not the end. My hate never perishes. It is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will rise again. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time." In other words, it is Demise's curse that ties them all together and forces them to repeat their conflict throughout the entirety of history. It is only through his power that this is possible, making these three an exception to the rule. Even then, the timeline demonstrates that the conflicts don't always end the same way, and the three wielders of the Triforce don't have the determined future they seem to. So Skyward Sword certainly demonstrates elements of determinism, but ultimately refutes its existence. Hello again, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and share, basically whatever you want in that regard. But, you know, I hope you enjoyed it. It took a long time for me to make this video. It's still a learning experience. This is only the second video where I've had it this highly edited. I guess my Undertale highlight was similar, but quite a bit more simple than what was done here and for my Child of Light video. It's actually kind of funny looking back on this video because it was supposed to come out back in March, just before my Breath of the Wild Let's Play. But that didn't work out. I wanted to get Child of Light in February, that didn't work out. It was a learning experience in terms of learning how to edit and all that, so that ended up in March, and now this is in April, and I'm happy I made the April deadline for this video. And I'll be doing more of these in the future. In fact, next is Dark Souls. In terms of all that, you can leave any suggestions you want in terms of stuff that you want to see change in terms of my format. I'm still learning here, so any suggestions, little tips, or anything you want to leave are perfectly fine. Constructive criticism is always something I ask for here, and that goes for everything I do. I'm always going to be learning, so it's nice to have those things. Anyway, if you want to suggest any videos for me to do in this segment, feel free to leave it in the comments or message me on Twitter or here on YouTube. In terms of that, you don't have to suggest anything I've Let's Played. I'm just pulling from that for now for simplicity, and so, you know, it's easier for me to kind of relate to the content that I've already done. But if you want to see other things, just let me know. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it on that front. I'm going to leave some links to other videos, my other gaming philosophy video, my Skyward Sword video, and all that stuff. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again, and I will see all of you very, very soon. Bye.